I like to acknowledge the unceded sovereignty of all traditional custodians of the lands, skies and waters where this presentation is viewed. I like to extend my respect to all Indigenous groups of Colombia and to the Woiwurrung and Bunurong groups of the Kulin Nation where I'm living, and also to the Ainu and Ryukyu peoples of Japan. I'm grateful for the cultural wisdoms in guiding our shared futures. The extraordinary conditions of living through this global pandemic focuses us to radically rethink our relationships to many beings and ecologies. It is a stark reminder that we inter-are with everything on the planet.
Our paper addresses philosophical concerns of living in multi-species, many-cultured worlds and how we participate practically. This is just a taster. We're committed to PD's concerns of voice, representation, structures of organisation and future-making decisions, but we question the human-only who, what and how. In developing practice, participation otherwise for us means exploring relations to expand PD with more than human concerns, in resonance with the Zapatista call for a world where many worlds fit. Escobar's recent book, Designs for the Pluralverse, points to an ontology in which, in Haraway's words, nothing pre-exists the relatings. Like other scholars exploring deep relationality, we aim to link PD ambitions to include all stakeholders with theories of life's interdependence. We bring ethical, political and onto-epistemological questions to consider how more than human entities like plants, animals, rocks, rivers and spirits participate in our becoming of futures. To engage pluriversally requires us to embody multiple worldviews and forge them into our thinking and practice, to embrace what might appear as contradictory ontologies or implausible realities. If being and interconnection is respected in all humans and more than humans, then care must extend across further relationships. Acknowledging the sentience of more than human entities means embracing them as they are. When we do so, participation can go beyond egalitarian, tolerant and liberal visions towards questions of co-ontology where being and becoming are already always with many. In short, our paper involves always participating with many to explore 5 things: decentering human perspectives, embracing ontologies that draw differing lines between living and inert to broaden notions of living beyond entities with cell division, adopting simultaneous and multiple worldviews to upend universalist categorizing, relating the more than human to the becoming of everything, and what it means to move between multiple ontologies. And we're now going to share 3 related stories from Aotearoa, New Zealand, Japan, and from Britain.
Wanagui River in Aotearoa, New Zealand is a compelling example of having rights as a living being. This honours Te Ao Māori, Maori world, which sees people, land, waterways and ancestors bound together as one kin. Anne Salmond, a professor with a lifelong engagement with Maori peoples and worlds, remarks that many Maoris are able to shift between different dimensions of reality. Quote, "At one moment, a person may stand in Te Ao Māori, where river ancestors are real and co-present. At another, they may speak and think as a physicist, historian, highly trained lawyer with no evident sense of contradiction." End quote. She observes this as ontological braiding, where different ontologies are embodied by individuals who move between them. While we cannot know our as ontology, we attempt a small step towards one interpretation of ontological braiding, to explore what that might mean for us, and invite you to hold 2 or more ontologies simultaneously in mind. Next, we turn to Japan, where ancient Koshinto spirituality has continued alongside successive Western influences. Sacred places, such as shrines, are an embodiment of community history, teaching, knowledge and practices that span hundreds of years. Awe-inspiring powers that include Mount Fuji, the sun and tempest or things in domestic life, are demarcated with a torii gate or shimenawa rope.
神道では、岩は生きていて成長していると考えます。実際にサザレ石という石があるんですが、それは土の中で育っていく石で、よくこういった神社に祀られています。次に、この荒削りな石碑には筆文字でここより下に家を建てるなと彫られています。2011年3月に、巨大な津波が日本の東北地方の海岸沿いを襲いました。この記事はある小さな町の人々がこの石碑に書かれた個人の警告を守ったことを伝えています。死んでしまった人、そして岩、そういった今存在している人間だけでない、それを超えたコミュニケーションと、コラボレーションの説得力のあるストーリーです。
The third is from Britain, where there are only relic rituals of a faith that imbued everything with its own spirit. Elements of life march to their own beat. Despite science and technology, there is no way to ensure that things come into being, and no way to keep living things alive indefinitely. I walked through a meadow with a colleague, talking about what inhabits life around us. We're interrupted by a sudden mound alive with small butterflies and the scent of thyme. Bees crowd in. We stand there. There is something about the immediacy of interconnection that doesn't know itself. In work using parallel worlds to drive a sense of how things could be other, I choose a world that features these sensitivities in the exercises I devise. This captures the imagination, and participants are able to play with ecological ideas of harmony, restoration, and other intimacies across species. This, of all workshop briefs, has proved to be powerful in stimulating thinking about being.
In closing, we offer a different how to catalyse, to think and do differently, and how to present descriptions to bring forth these insights. We need to move our minds and hearts as well as our practices. This means being with plants, other animals, trees, mountains, and rocks to attune our pace with different rhythms and flows. We can learn from places and positions that recognise more than human sentience. In other words, designing with and learning among people with deeply relational worldviews. We can braid, juxtapose and interweave multiple worldviews, eroding separations between beings and non-beings in favour of greater entanglement between them. This means keeping multiple worldviews alive within ourselves so that these philosophies and cosmopolitics can inform dialogue without being flattened out. We can use the power in writing to present alternatives in alternative ways. In Anne's fuller story, there is a method, a practical process to infuse relations with a different sensibility. We hope this tiny taste of thinking across worlds, an inspiration for us, will also be inspirational for others.